In football, we talked about the stance a little bit. Now we're going to talk about the hand position and using your hands. Football has evolved into a hand contact game. That's why you see the NFL doesn't wear belt pads around the waist, because most of the game is all strength, your feet take you to where your block goes. You use your hands to engage the man and control the man inside. Now, when using your hands, you always want to come from this position. You want to be able to step and get your hands in here. A lot of coaches go to these terms saying cock the guns. Well, remember, that defensive lineman is being coached to engage the offensive lineman as quick as he's off the ball. So if I'm a defensive lineman and Donnie's our center, and Donnie's trying to reach the shade, or he's just trying to he's trying to reach me on the shade, I want to be able to get my hands on him as quick as possible. So as a defender, let's take a side angle here, Donnie. As a defender, this right here, Donnie's going to try and reach this shade. Well, as a nose guard, I'm two-gapping, or I got gap protection of that A gap. I've got to try and cut him off, control that gap. Donnie's trying to get his head on attacking my outside number to outside eye area and inside, for instance, inside zone play. From here, as a nose guard, my first position is going to be down set, hut, into here. I'm trying to get my hands in here. Now, if you were to come back and cock your arms back like this and try to develop momentum to get in here, I've already gained this position. And if I've gained this position right here, he's in trouble because I've got control. It's a battle for inside hand position. He's trying to get there, I'm trying to get there. If I don't have this position, Donnie, as a defender, I'm going to fight to get that hand position as a defender. That's the nature of the offensive line and defensive line. Whoever has hand position on the inside is going to win these battles. Okay, as an offensive lineman, you want to lead with your hands and control a defender with your hands. You want to follow up with your head as a balance. Never lead with your head. You're subject to liability, and you're also subject to injuring the football player. So make sure you never lead with your head. And try to narrow the area. You're following with your hands and your head, trying to get in this position. When you've gotten into this position, you've got your hands inside. Don't have your football players get into this habit. This is a security thing, and I see a lot of young football players do this, trying to control a guy outside. That's going to get you a holding call out here. But if I can shoot my hands in here, at this point I can grab inside here and get my head on side and drive. That's the initial part of a block that you've got to start with. And I'll try and put this together here out of a three-point stance playing left guard, and he's in an inside or two-eye set, and I'm basically just going to man block him and cut him off. Let's go in this angle right here, Donnie. And I'll go through it slow. Down, set, hut, hands, head, control, and start in this position. Now you can see in this football position, I've got my head in here. You can see that I have got a good ankle, knee, and hip placement, and my back is straight. This kind of a back arch will cause injury and not give you any energy or any power off the football. So make sure that you end up in this position on the defender. You can see how I've got good balance. My feet are wide apart. Now, while moving in football, we never bring our feet together. This will make the biggest man unstable on any football field, and he'll easily get thrown by a defender.
To start off with is the basic fundamentals of a stance. And when you're in a stance, the stance I like to teach the most is a stance where your feet are shoulder width apart. You get your feet shoulder width apart, toes slightly going forward, but yet slightly turned out. In the old days, they always wanted your toes forward. It didn't allow us to move in the different positions that we need to move today in today's game of football. So what I like to do is start out with our feet slightly turned out just a little bit, shoulder width apart. And I tell our offensive linemen to squat down like they're catching a baseball game, just the basic starts of an offensive line stance. Squat down, put your hand out as far as you can. We talk about putting all fingers in the ground. We don't put a three-finger tripod, we don't put a two-finger, we don't put our fist, we put our whole hand in the ground, and we raise our butt up ever so slightly, and we put our off hand on the knee here, and I'll explain why we do that in a minute. We're in a nice balanced stance, again, with our toes slightly turned out. In this stance, we've got to be able to move in 8 different directions, and I'm going to go over those 8 different directions here in a second, and then we'll have a player demonstrate. But out of this stance, I'm nice and comfortable, have a nice flat back. My knees are comfortable. I'm in a good stance. I could sit in this position all day. My offhand again is cupping my knee. Chad will go ahead and step in here and demonstrate the stance as well. Notice again, you got a nice flat back. Head is bowed back. He's looking through his eyebrows with his eyes. He's got all fingers on the ground. Toes are slightly turned out, not too bad. If I walk up behind Chad and bump him, he's not going anywhere. This is how I can tell an offensive lineman's in a good stance. He doesn't shake, he doesn't move, he's ready to go. Okay, Chad, relax. One of the things in that stance and why we do this, we put this offhand here because we don't want to get any wasted movement. So here I am in this stance, I'm nice and comfortable. I can move in 8 different directions. Why my hand is here, I need to go ahead and talk about that, is a lot of times coaches teach that hand right here in front of the face, and that forces us, when we take that 6-inch power step, to bring this hand all the way back, which is wasted movement. We want to go ahead and come from our stance like this with our 6-inch power step, have both hands here ready to fire in our holsters, as I call them. I tell our football players, have your hands in your holsters ready to fire. From here, after we've taken that 6-inch power step, we can come forward with our second step and punch. Again, you cannot punch until both feet are on the ground. Chad, go ahead and get set. Just go through the first step, take a 6-inch power step. Set hit, there you go. Perfect. Go back and get in the stance again. Set hit, perfect. Now put it together. Set hit, right there. He has executed an excellent first, second, and third step to this stance. Go ahead and relax. As I said again, when you're in, what I've done now is I've brought in all the offensive linemen that are here today to help us out with the stance. As you can see again, they're in an evenly distributed weight. Okay, they can get up and stand up, they can pass block, they can run block. Their weight is evenly distributed. Okay, notice that on these offensive linemen, their toes are slightly out, they're not pointing forward, their knees are knock-kneed in. The knees being knock-kneed in helps us get on power angles quickly so that we can move in any direction. I talked about those 8 different directions. These guys can go in any direction. If you'll notice the stance, butt is slightly raised, okay? Some more than others. They're in a nice power position, ready to move. Hand is on the knee, ready to throw. Okay, guys, relax, kick it up, turn it around. I'll show you again from the back side. This is what it looks like from the back. Okay, knees slightly knock-kneed in, toes slightly out, nice power position, not going to knock anybody over. These guys are ready for battle today, and this is a great stance and a great start to an offensive lineman. Okay, guys, relax.
Majority of the time, I just like to run. You know, I think a big part of my game is my speed and my running ability. And majority of the time, I'm on a bike or I'm either out in the street, out in the backyard, running around. And my endurance has to be at the ultimate level. This off-season is going to be predicated towards footwork. Dedicate myself to making sure that when I'm in the pocket, my pocket presence will be there and I'll be able to make moves and avoid the rush to create some time. I don't think a big part of my game is being strong and having to go in the weight room and throw up 400 pounds. I think the thing to do is just try to work every part of your body as much as you can to maintain strength and make sure that upon contact, you know, you can withstand it. I've seen a dramatic change in my guns and change in my stiff arm, so it goes to show that hard work does pay off.
Okay, these are a couple basic warm-up drills to get loose. A lot of people will have the misconception that throwing the ball with velocity is all about arm strength. But arm strength begins in the hips and the feet. So we're going to do some drills as we warm up here to work on initiating that explosive core in our hips and changing our direction with our hips to create velocity and get our hips loose. We're going to face each other, face our target. We have our instep to our foot, pointing directly at our target. We have our front shoulder, which is like the sight of a gun, also pointing directly at our target. We're going to have good front hand pressure on the ball. We've got the ball seated above the numbers on the shelf. This is going to allow us to have a good short stroke and a quick release to our target. As he steps to throw, he will step directly with his front foot at the target, pronating the wrist on delivery, finishing with his thumb down, and finishing with his weight on his front foot. Good. Partner will throw the ball back in the same way. Good. A good job of finishing with his weight on his front foot. Next thing we're going to do is face each other with our hips parallel. Now again, we're working our hip exchange. We're going to rotate at the hips and the waist, pointing our front shoulder, which again is our sight. We're going to look down the barrel, finish through, down the midline, again, pronating our wrist. The last one we're going to do, and really get the hips loose, we're going to turn opposite of our natural throwing motion. Now we're going to be forced to really rotate that front shoulder around, really get our sight pointed, and again, use our hips to generate the velocity of the throw. Good. About 3 to 5 throws, depending on the time you have. You should be good and loose with your hips and ready to start working on your drops.
One of the most important skills that a quarterback and center need are the exchange. They start off every play. And there are 2 types of quarterback-center exchanges. One would be from the shotgun, and one that we're going to do right now from underneath the center. We're going to demonstrate this if we can get down and show it to you, and then we'll walk you through it. The quarterback will get underneath the center like this. He'll put his hands comfortably underneath the center's buttocks, and he'll have his hands together. And on the snap count, the center will bring the ball up as fast as he can to the quarterback. Let's demonstrate. So he brings it up. Now notice that the quarterback's hands, if we could show them here, there are a couple of different schools of thought. Some people put their throwing hand up top. Other people will put their non-throwing hand on top. We generally put our non-throwing hand on top, although Charlie doesn't. And have it nice and comfortable. And as soon as you get the ball, bring it to your third hand, which is your stomach, and now you can step back away from the center to either deliver the ball to a running back or to pass or whatever it is that you, whatever that play might be. So let's just try it again, and we'll see it full speed. Set it. Good. The next fundamental we're going to talk about is the handoff from the quarterback to the running back, okay? And some key points here is after the snap, the quarterback is going to put it right in the stomach of the running back. The running back is going to make a nice pocket for him, and he's going to close on it as not to fumble. We'll go through this slowly, and I'll talk you through it, okay? Let's go through slow motion first. Ready? Go. Notice he's up, he gets a nice pocket and comes down. All right, let's do that one more time. We'll go slower now. Why don't you, don't take the snap, just take it from up top and go one step at a time. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Notice the pocket. Let's do it again. Let's go by the numbers. All right, this is how we actually teach it. All right, let's go by the numbers. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very good, very good. And actually, why don't we get Andrew here. Andrew, show them the pocket and what it's supposed to look like right here. Notice that the arm that's closest to the quarterback where he's getting the ball is up, not the other way around. He's made a nice big target, and of course the quarterback just places it right in here, and Andrew's going to cover up as not to fumble. And he goes right in through, okay? Let's go full speed and see what it looks like. Good, there you go. So that's the handoff technique from the quarterback to the running back. Just nice big target, protect the football, get down low, no fumbles.
With a running back, I think the biggest thing is vision. You got to have vision to be able to see the holes. You got to be able to see things that other people